The storm was not the only thing howling that night. Inside the old rotting cabin, Eva was trembling, not from the cold, but from fear. Her husband, Mark, was pacing the floor, his heavy boots thumping against the wood like a countdown to a disaster. He held a rusty axe in his grip, his knuckles white. "I know you are hiding something in the barn, Eva," he shouted, his voice slurring from the drink. "If it is another stray dog eating my food, I will skin it alive." Eva fell to her knees, grabbing his dirty coat. "Please, Mark. He is hurt. He is dying. Just let him pass the night." Mark kicked her hand away. A cruel smile twisted his lips. "Perfect. A dying animal does not run. Easy trophy." He slammed the door and marched into the blizzard. Eva screamed, scrambling to her feet to stop him. She knew the creature in the barn was not a dog. It was massive. It had eyes like molten gold. And she knew that if Mark swung that axe, something terrible was going to happen. But she was wrong. The tragedy would not be the death of the beast. It would be the end of Mark's tyranny. 3 hours earlier, the snow had been falling in sheets of white. Eva had been gathering firewood when she saw the trail of crimson blood. It led to the back of the barn behind the old tractor. There, curled in the hay, lay a wolf. But this was no ordinary wolf. It was gigantic, easily the size of a small pony. Its fur was pitch black, matted with ice and blood. It had 3 deep bullet wounds in its side. Any normal animal would be dead. Eva had approached it slowly. Instead of snapping at her, the beast had looked at her with intelligence. Deep, golden intelligence. It let out a low whine. Eva's heart broke. She had been trapped in this mountain cabin for 7 years with a monster of a husband. She knew what it felt like to be wounded and alone. "I will help you," she had whispered. She used her own scarf to bind the wounds. She brought it the last piece of meat from the pantry, a steak Mark was saving for himself. The wolf ate it in one bite. When it looked at her, she felt a strange warmth, a vibration in the air, like static electricity. But then the truck headlights had flashed through the window. Mark was home, and he was angry. Now, present time. The barn door creaked open. The wind shrieked, blowing snow onto the hay. Mark raised the lantern. The light swung wildly, landing on the corner where Eva had hidden the beast. The wolf was trying to stand, but its back leg gave out. It collapsed, panting heavily. Mark laughed, a dry, ugly sound. "Look at the size of that pelt," he sneered. "That fur will fetch me $500 in town, maybe more." Eva rushed in, blocking his path. "No! Mark, look at him. He's suffering. Have you no heart?" "Move, woman," Mark roared, "or you will sleep outside with the carcass." He shoved Eva hard. She flew backward, hitting her head against the wooden post. She slumped to the ground, dizzy, vision blurring. Through her tears, she saw Mark step over her. He walked up to the panting wolf. The beast looked up. It did not growl. It did not bare its teeth. It just watched him, waiting. Mark raised the axe high above his head. "Lights out, mutt." The metal blade caught the light of the lantern. Mark grunted as he swung down with all his strength. Eva squeezed her eyes shut, waiting for the sickening sound of the chop. Thud, but it was not the sound of metal hitting flesh. It was the sound of metal hitting a rock? No, it was a dull, heavy impact. Silence filled the barn. The wind outside seemed to stop. "What the—" Mark's voice trembled. Eva opened her eyes, and she gasped. The wolf was gone. Standing in its place was a man. He was towering, over 2 meters tall. He was naked from the waist up, his skin steaming in the freezing air. His muscles were like carved stone, covered in scars that were knitting together before their eyes. But the most terrifying thing was his hand. His massive hand had caught the handle of the axe inches from his face. He held it with zero effort, as if Mark was a child holding a toy. The stranger slowly stood to his full height. He looked down at Mark. His eyes were still glowing, 2 burning circles of gold in the darkness. "You have made a mistake," the stranger said. His voice was deep, vibrating in Eva's chest like a bass drum. Mark tried to pull the axe back, but it wouldn't move. He was paralyzed with terror. "Who? What are you?" The stranger twisted his wrist. Snap! The wooden handle of the axe shattered like a dry twig. Mark stumbled back, falling into the hay. The stranger stepped forward. He did not look at the shivering man on the floor. He looked at Eva. His expression softened. "Are you hurt?" he asked. Eva shook her head, too stunned to speak. The stranger turned back to Mark. He grabbed Mark by the collar of his coat and lifted him 1 foot off the ground. Mark kicked and flailed, screaming for help. "This woman fed me when I was starving," the stranger growled. "She gave me warmth when I was freezing, and you struck her." "I am sorry, I didn't know," Mark cried, tears freezing on his cheeks. "Take whatever you want. Take the truck. I do not want your garbage," the stranger said with disgust. "I am Alpha Brooks of the Blackwood Pack, and this land, it borders my territory." He walked to the barn door and threw Mark out into the snow. Mark landed hard, rolling in the drifts. "Run!" Brooks commanded. "If I see you within 50 miles of this woman again, I will not be in human form when I find you." Mark scrambled up and ran into the darkness, leaving his truck, his cabin, and his wife behind. He never looked back. Brooks turned to Eva. He picked up an old blanket and wrapped it around his shoulders. "Thank you, Eva. My pack is coming. You are safe now." For the first time in 7 years, Eva did not feel the cold. She looked at the empty doorway where her tormentor had vanished, and then at the protector standing before her. Sometimes monsters look like men, and sometimes heroes look like beasts. If you believe Mark got exactly what he deserved, hit that like button right now. And listen, we are trying to reach 10,000 subscribers this week. If you want to see what happens to Eva next, subscribe and turn on notifications. You do not want to miss part 2. Thanks for listening.